have known at all.
Who's meeting them? Oh, that's someone. Who had the tumors on the kid?
My father.
Make mention to my daughter about my kid.
Yeah, she said we should come up.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who's meeting them? Who had the tumors on the kid?
My father.
Make mention to my daughter about my kid.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who's meeting them? Who had the tumors on the kid?
My father.
Make mention to my daughter about my kid.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who's meeting them? Who had the tumors on the kid?
My father.
Make mention to my daughter about my kid.
Things that no one would have known at all. Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the tumors on the kid?
My father.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who's meeting them? Who had the tumors on the kid?
My father.
Mention to my daughter.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the tumors on the kid? Mention to my daughter.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the tumors on the kid?
My father.
Make mention to my daughter about my kid. I don't want to leave that.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the tumors on the kid? Make mention to my daughter about my kid.
things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the children on the kids? Father. My daughter about my kids. What happened?
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the children on the kids? Father. My daughter about
So wait, are you saying that there's no Santa? Are you saying that there's no Santa?
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the children on the kids? Morning, Father.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the children on the kids? Father. Make a mention to my daughter about my kids.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the children on the kids? Father. Make a mention to my daughter about my kids.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the children on the kids? Father. Make a mention to my daughter about my kids.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the children on the kids? Father. Make a mention to my daughter about my
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the children on the kids? Father. Make a mention to my daughter about my kids.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the children on the kids? Father. Make a mention to my daughter about my
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the children on the kids? Father. Make a mention to my daughter about my kids.
no one would have known at all.
Who had the two things on the kitchen? My father.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who had the two things on the kitchen? My
Things that no one would have known at all.
Morning. Who had the two things on the kitchen? My father. Make mentions of my daughter about my kids.
How's it? Wow.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who's leaving then? That's us. No?
1, 2. I'm not going to move. I'm going to stand like this the whole time. How's everybody? Okay? Hey, thank you. Good morning. I'm Robert Bob Hansen. My friend Tom LaFosse is our video guy. We have this morning. Just by a quick show of hands, how many of you guys have seen me
Things
before?
that no one would have known.
And those who have never seen me before, let me see your hands. Where you been? I'm going to take about 5 or 6 minutes. It's not working.
No. We can hear you.
But I think he wants to record it, right?
I don't need
Can I go without this?
Yeah.
I got a big mouth, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let's unhook me, Tom. We'll do it.
No, I need that. That's separate.
What?
The microphone and what's on your shirt is separate.
No, they don't want me to use the mic.
Yeah, just forget it. Leave that on there.
Why?
That's for the camera.
Oh, for the camera. This is a little advanced stuff. Is this okay? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I got a kind of a lot of pipes. Thank you all very much for coming. We're going to be doing readings in about 6 or 7 minutes, okay? And I'm going to get as many of you in as I can. My reflex is to kind of be on somebody for 5 or 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. And I understand that sometimes people go, oh, he didn't get to me. So I'm going to try to get to as many of you as I can. Okay, fair enough?
Yes.
All right. Rule number 2. I cannot control where it goes. I cannot. When this is happening authentically, it will bring me right to you. So if I come to this lovely woman over here, I will be like this. I'll say, this is for you. Now, it could include the gal next to her if it's your sister or something. But other than that, it will only be here. You don't got to raise your hand. I think that's my reading. I'll take that reading. You got my face?
We got it.
Okay. You understand me? I'll give you the rules quick, and then I'm going to tell you what's going on, okay? So, A, if I approach you, it's not me. So if you walk out and say, he didn't come to me, then with respect, you do not understand what's going on. And I'm trying to help you see that in advance. I will be called to you. Sometimes the word I use is, I will be pulled to you. Clear. Are we clear?
Yes.
If I'm pulled to this young woman here, with, pardon my language, keep your mouth shut. In other words, never tell the psychic a damn thing. Ever. Otherwise, it becomes a slick interview between the medium and the guest who is grieving. And you want to feed information to make it connect better for you. please don't do that, at least with me. Okay? Is that fair?
Yes.
Good. Next, I cannot control who rises. So therefore, you may be here for your mom, but your mother's brother comes through instead. I'm asking you politely, don't reject the soul. Allow it to rise. Okay? You might say, well, I'm only thinking about my mother who died in the car crash, and I'm mentioning someone who passed away from a series of blood clots in their kidneys. And you say, well, that's my mother's brother. What is he doing here? Please, I'm making this clear. If you do not offer forgiveness, forgiveness will be denied. Make no mistake about that. Okay? All right. 2 minutes and we're done. All messages in a reading are for the living. Otherwise, you get dead guys talking to dead guys who don't have opinion. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
So you represent your children, you represent your spouse, you represent your brothers and sisters, you represent your parents, you represent a lot of folks, those who are living and those who have moved along. The primary message in any session is that we are here. Not whether or not you should buy a house in Arizona. Call a real estate broker with that. You understand?
Yes.
Last little bit. There's a common expression in this kind of market, for lack of a better word, I'm sorry. I'm not an entertainer, I'm not a performer. If you're here to be entertained or a performance, I'm just not, that's not me, okay? I'm just here to help you guys and do the work I'm doing, okay? This is a term that's often used, that someone is speaking to the dead, right? Speaking to the dead. With respect, no one's speaking to dead people. That implies dialogue, that implies conversation, right? So for example, what is your name?
Stephanie.
Hi, Steph. If Stephanie was the medium, and I was in the audience, and she was up here presenting this work to the group, and this beautiful young lady suggested to me that she was talking to my mom, who I treasured in my life, my mom. My mother happened to be born in Ireland, right? That's what she happened to be. That comes from Irish people. And if this young woman suggested to me she was talking to my beautiful mother, I would say, you seem like a lovely person. I'm sure you're convinced of what you're telling me, but you're telling me you're talking to her. Like I'm talking to you. Right? I want to make sure it's my mom. So please just ask my mother what part of Ireland she grew up in. Since you're talking to her. Well, yes or no? Come on. Right or wrong? And if this young lady said Mobile, Donegal in the north, I'd be all in. I'd be all in. It doesn't work like that, folks. Right? You kind of compress it. You've ever seen people that work with deaf people? You know, people who can't talk, they can't speak, and they have a sign language. Have you ever seen them on TV?
Yeah.
And you're saying, what the heck are they talking about? Right? You ever see it? And then someone walks up and says, oh, they've decided to move to Ohio. They're going to go to Ohio State University, and they have 2 children. How do you know that? Because I can interpret their signs. Understand? A long time ago, I received this gift in my sleep 27 years ago. I'm simply an interpreter to the ones that love you. Got it? Last comment. There are people that think after physical death that the soul ejects to Never Neverland. They use terms like crossing over, the other side, they're over there, they're over there. Yes or no? You've all heard it?
Yeah.
Okay. Many people say my family has gone to heaven. Have you heard that one? Okay. Just stay, please, stay with me. This is not religion, so I'm not talking religion here, okay? But a very famous young man, you know the guy I'm talking about? The guy that celebrated on Sundays? Someone asked that man the question, where is this place? And that young fellow said, I say unto thee, my Father's house, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Nowhere else. Which means they have never left you. They have never separated from you. You can never be without them, and you cannot lose them. But you don't know it. So my role is to interpret as best as I can for as many of you as I can to, quote, prove their presence for you, so you know when you go home here today, my dad, my brother, my son, my sister, whatever the case might be, they're here with me, and they never left you. They will never leave you. You cannot lose them. And they're going to ask me to help you as much as I can. I'll do as many of you as I can in the time we have. Okay? That's the answer. What do you want?
What did you say about forgiveness?
I said if you don't offer it, it will be denied.
Is that the same as to say if you don't ask for it, it'll be denied?
Say that again?
If you don't ask for it, will it be denied?
Asking has got nothing to do with it.
Okay.
It's a matter of the heart. If your heart is not forgiving, then you will suffer. It's very simple. I'm not a magician. I'm a regular guy. I'm married. I'm my lovely wife. I have kids. I'm a regular person. No magic powers here. No magic powers. Okay? That's it. I do get a little edgy. I'm sorry. Because I'm talking about your families. Please don't anyone play with your hearts. Please. I won't. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay? We're all done. You guys ready to go?
Yep.
I have to move my head twice. I'm not going to float. Yes. All right, here we go. This is over here. By the way, this is called the pull. The soul is pulling on me. Okay? This is, oh my Lord, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. It's only in this little window. I know you maybe are not together. I don't know if you're in the same group. No? I'm just asking. Please listen what I described. Sometimes people have a situation, I'm not a doctor, but sometimes people have a situation when they need either a tube or a drain or something that hooks into the side of the throat. You ever see this? Where they have some kind of a, I don't know what the word would be, like a, not a straw, but like a not a stent. That's it. Thank you. Are you a medical person?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. But there's something about this, the stent or something placed in the side of the throat. But this part's odd. Would you know offhand if someone had that and it either affected their hearing or something went sideways where they had a bad infection or something, it's up in here now, not down in here. It's up in here. Do you understand that? Why do you understand that?
My mother had one.
That's enough.
Okay.
May I have your name, please?
Donna.
All right. I don't mean to be rude, Miss Donna. Okay, this is just my personality. When you start telling me stuff, I will shut you off. You understand me? You just do something with someone like myself. If they allow you to continue to talk, please say, don't. Hear me out with respect. Now, how are you ladies connected?
I'm a daughter.
You seem thrilled? Okay. Throw it out there. You'll be walking home. It's cold. Yeah. You're going to be nice. So with respect to you, so if your mother had a stint, right, which is the term you use, not the term I use, but it was up in her neck wall or under her ear, would you know offhand, and you might or might not, it feels like it affected her ear, there was a hearing issue, there was something in addition to it. But it's also making me feel that there was either a drip or a drain or something that went back into her chest wall. Like it reversed on her. Does that make sense? Or something close to that. It became a source of a problem. Something was not correct. Yes? Stay with me. I have a lot of friends, guys in my age bracket, have whacked out heart systems. A lot of my friends have stents. They're doing fine. They're fine. But with respect to your mother's soul, something went sideways. And it wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. Yes or no? Okay? How do you know that? Were you there to see it? Or did you hear about it? I'm just asking. I'm a pest.
I was there.
Okay, good. So this person that's rising with your beautiful daughter, which is your Nana, is telling me that this drove her passing. It wasn't just a temporary medical condition, and she wound up crossing. Are you the same one that left the room right before she died?
No.
Who walked out right before she died?
I don't remember anybody walking
Now,
out.
take a second. I'm not trying to talk you.
No, no.
There's a gathering around someone that's dying. A nice family will say goodbye. People get emotional, people may run to the bathroom, people may make a phone call, they get out to the nursing station, and they're concerned about the way she's not looking good or something. I get that. But it comes across to me that somebody said, I can't watch, they turned away, they couldn't bear it. How do you know that?
I was there.
Who turned away?
I believe it was my sister.
Okay, with respect, no judgment here. But if you're telling me your biological sister turned away from the woman where there was a gathering around the bed, and she had a stint that went backwards and it created a problem in her chest wall, yes or no?
Yes.
Pretty close, correct? Okay. I was there, they told me to come here. We've never had the pleasure of meeting. So the voice that's speaking, quote unquote, and they're not speaking, they're expressing, is tell my daughter this. But there's one last little bit that I gotta jump, okay?
Yeah.
This is odd. This is odd. Sometimes people have tummy surgeries, right? Various reasons. You can have it for babies, you can have it for gastric issues, you can have a hernia, all kinds of crazy stuff can go on, yes or no? You know someone that had a bulge coming off of the side of their stomach? Or had like an inguinal rupture, or someone had a rupture in the stomach wall? It's right. Are you sure about this? So someone did deliver a child and had complications afterwards? I know you're a little nervous, but just try it one more time. If you say no, I'll walk. I'm gonna leave. I have to leave anyway, but I don't want to leave you hanging. Are you sure someone didn't have a imbalance in the stomach? Not talking internally. Like there was either something in the belly system. She keeps telling me about a bulge in the side of someone. No one didn't have a pouch. No one didn't have a.
Oh, yes.
Oh, with respect, if they're a colon pouch.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You said no initially, right? Because I was describing inside. I understand that. But I have to interpret it, right? But I know someone says, I had to do this to go to the bathroom. I had to walk this way. Is that your mom too?
No.
Who is that?
My dad's best friend.
Crossed over? Okay. Then some people will ask me, is my mom all alone? Right? And the soul is rising saying, I'm here. We're coming in like that, okay? So let that sit with you. I have to move along a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
All right?
you.
All right, thank you. You're welcome. Let me get a little bit of water. Move it there. Again, this is called the pull. They're calling me to somebody. People often ask me, how do I know where to go? It would take me the rest of the afternoon to explain it. You don't want that. You want to work, right? How are you guys connected?
Daughter and stepdaughter.
Mother, daughter, stepdaughter. So your dad married this young lady? Is that what happened? Good, good, good. Okay, here we go. Sometimes people, when they die, right, you're there. You're there. There's a gathering. But other times people are found deceased. Right? You walk into a room and you expect them to be there, and you're calling them for lunch, you're calling them for breakfast, they're not answering, you gotta go to work, where the hell are you, you're running late, I told you to set the alarm clock, something. And through here, with respect, they're making me feel someone went into a bedroom, yes or no, a bedroom, not the garage, and they found someone deceased. Okay, it has to be in-house. Okay, I heard you say living room. It has a bedroom feeling to me. It doesn't feel like the garage or out on the front lawn or shoveling snow. Would you know what's your name, sweetheart? Oh, nice to meet you, Kevin. Would you know what? And don't say yes if you don't know this for sure. I'm a pain in the hiney. But would you know if they left the bedroom into the living room? I mean, you sleep there. You get up and watch TV. You put the football game on or something. You know if someone laid down on that couch or sat in that chair and they never woke up again? With respect, I was there. They walked me around and said, speak here. I haven't had the privilege of knowing you guys. Where the hell did that come from? Now this next part's bugging me. I don't want to hurt you. Why is there an apology connected to this? You know, if someone was not taking the appropriate medications, if someone was not doing what they were supposed to be doing. Now let me give you a little share, okay? My dad, who was my best friend, my mom, who was my other best friend, they were married for 67 years, right? I found my dad dead. My dad had Alzheimer's. He died in his easy chair. He just never woke up. He was very quiet, left very gently. But he was kind of like an exercise nut. Even in his late years, he was still walking around doing stuff. His mind just, right? This person's making me feel either they were meds they were supposed to take, things they were supposed to do. I don't feel this is like a genetic heart attack that came out of nowhere, some predisposed condition, but it made their heart explode in some way, yes? This is not they fell down a flight of stairs and hit their head and they said, I have a headache and I had a bleed in the brain, they never knew about it, right? This is a person that's laying on that couch with respect, sweetheart. And you go down the stairs, you call him, when you look, and you come up, and all of a sudden, like my dad, he was cool. Does that make sense? I don't know you. Why would I know this? Because they're right here. May I ask who they are to you?
My uncle.
I'm sorry, that's your mom's brother?
My
Is that
dad's brother.
Your dad's brother. There's one little bit more here that I gotta move, okay? I'm trying to get to a lot of people. Normally I'd stay with you for 20 minutes, but people yell at me. Well, they don't want, what they want is they want to be read, they don't want to see the work. And that's okay. For this kind of experience, it's fine. I have no issue with that. You understand me? This is a little rough. I gotta ask. Did someone have their arm amputated? Who almost lost their arm? Or had a withering of the arm? I worked with special ed for a long time in my career. Did someone have CP? Did someone have some kind of a special needs arm issue or some kind of a deteriorating limb? Come on. I'm not talking about a little scratch. Who was that?
My aunt.
What happened to her?
Yeah, she had diabetes.
Did her arms wither?
I'm not sure about the arms.
Say it again?
I'm not sure about the arms.
But did she have an amputation of the, okay, it has to be amputation, but there's something about the hands too. But if you're telling me that all diabetics get amputated, but if you're telling me she had an amputation of the arm, or of the leg, excuse me, I need to know.
Toes and fingers.
Fingers. And fingers, that's it. I think the last time I looked, fingers are connected to the arm, right?
Yes.
Just trying to give you a 10-minute yes. So if you're telling me you have this aunt, whatever that is, missing fingers, missing legs, or missing feet, or something similar, and your uncle, is that her husband? Was that brother and sister? That's it. And the brother and sister, she's also crossed? Okay, so you have a brother and sister who have crossed. One's got part of his fingers missing, part of the limbs missing, and the other person is on the couch with a heart attack because he wouldn't take care of himself. Why would I know that? Because this is the way they communicate. And they're not communicating from outer space. They're right there. But why don't you sense it? And I'm trying to show you the door. Let me get some more water. Hi! What happened to you?
Sorry.
No, no. Is that a net warmer or is it? Oh, I thought you were fucking. I thought you fell down a flight of stairs. Did you check in with everybody?
Somebody says check it with it.
The door on that left. Did you? Right? Come out of the combo. I'll watch everything. All right. I'm right in this row. I'm over here. Don't mind me. People don't understand what happens to me when I do this. This is called a gift of grace. It's a gift of grace. It happened to me, I was sharing this with these women before, it happened to me in less than one breath. I'm going to be 73. I'm not a kid. And when I was 46 years old, I went to sleep one night. I was working at that time for the Helen Keller Center. I was working with blind children, visually impaired children. And I woke up in the morning. Tommy, we got to get one more. I got up in the, two more. I got up in the morning and everything changed. Everything changed. Did you have, are you waiting for someone?
Yeah, they paid traffic.
All right, I'll have to wait for them to get settled.
Yeah, they have seats.
I have to get to you, it's too strong.
Go ahead.
All right, so please listen, okay? I have to interpret now. Who's with who here? Are you family? I'm not asking if you're friends.
These are my daughters behind me,
Okay,
and this is my daughter's mother-in-law and her friend.
I got it. Nothing wrong with friends, but usually the friends really have a whole different dynamic because they have a whole different family structure, right? I mean, you may have coincidental friendships now, but when you were 4 years old, unless you knew each other next door to each other, you're not going to know certain stuff, right or wrong. Please listen. Sometimes people have issues in their stomach area. Yes, people can have stomach issues. Sometimes people can have issues in their intestinal wall and so on. Would you guys know the person that had like an infection or a swelling on the underbelly of the stomach? Yes or no? Yeah. Now hear me out, okay? You take in food, it drops out of your esophagus, and the first organ that it bumps into is your stomach. It travels through the intestines, a lot of way to go, and then out the bottom, and we're all done, right? I'm very gentle here. The stomach is the first big organ. Now, when certain mediums say it happened down here, that covers an awful lot of territory. Right? Reproductive systems, the liver, the pancreas, your spleen, your colon. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. That kind of covers a lot of territory, right? So for me, I try to read a lot more close than that because that's what the soul will show. So if you're telling me someone had at the lower part of their stomach, either a cancer or some kind of an acute, I'm not a doctor, some kind of an acute intestinal issue, some kind of an acute inflammation, yes or no? All right, Tom, I think we have one more gentleman here. Oh, this guy's over here. You're over here, son. Over here. You understand that? Because that's who's beginning to rise. There's someone that's telling me, and here's the part that's bothering me. They're making me feel they tried to avoid this for a while. Now, listen, when people get a normal stomach ache, or they had a little bit of bad food, you may have a bad belly. It doesn't mean you're flying to the emergency room because you're throwing up in the bed and you I shouldn't have ate that third burger, or something like that. But if someone has got this and they're kind of like, no, I'll be fine, I'll take Alka-Seltzer, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll swallow vanilla ice cream, I'll make it go away, and they're slowly dying of stomach cancer. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Why would I say that to you guys?
Her mom.
No, I know who you are. Why would I walk over?
Her mom. Our grandmother.
With respect, why would I walk over to you 4 people and share that exact story? Because the soul just rose and they said, Rob, speak to them about this. They'll know it's me because this is what killed me. The reason why the souls mention how they died, it is the last thing your body will remember. And usually, with respect to your family, it's the first thing people ask at the funeral. What happened to your beautiful mother? What happened to your grandmother? Yes? And you say, my nana had a stomach issue. She had cancer of the stomach. It didn't go bad. She didn't want to take care of it. It got out of control and she wound up dying. Yes or no? Right? This is not someone found on a couch or someone who had their fingers taken off, amputating their fingers off due to diabetes. You see the difference? Now, in the family, I know I don't live out here, but I meet many great people in Suffolk County, and McGough is nearby these other airports around here, yes? So people have licenses to fly, people do all kinds of stuff with aircraft. I don't know. Does someone have a pilot's license?
You're close. The airport makes sense.
Okay. Well, I don't want to be close. This is not a game like that.
works
With
at
no-
the airport.
Did somebody work for the airport? Who?
My husband.
We're still with us, I hope?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just asking, sweetheart. This is your mom, so we're talking about your nana.
No, my mom used to work for SAS Airlines.
Oh, that's all I want.
Too.
Okay, all right, stay with me. I'm not asking if someone worked as a school teacher or a nurse, or worked for Walmart, or as an attorney. I understand this. There's a diversity in what people do for livings. I get it. But they're showing me aircraft. So if you're telling me that, I'm not asking if you took a flight to Florida one time to see Disney.
She worked for the Emirates.
I understand. So if you're telling me this woman who I just described, I mean, with respect, you may have pictures at home, you may have images, you may have a flight link, you may have some other crap, you may have something that indicates either at the funeral when you put out stuff or at home privately, yes, that this soul says, tell them about the airport work that I do. And I'm the one with the issue in the stomach, and I'm the one that's passed on because I wouldn't listen to common sense. Yes or no?
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
So therefore, which is what I commented, someone asked me before over here, forgive her. Because if you hold on to that bitterness, one day it's going to be your turn. We've all made mistakes, including me, a million of them, right? And therefore, it's important to say, Grandma, I forgive you. I wish you had acted differently, but I know you're at peace. You're coming to us now. We're right here. And as I said in the intro, I don't ask questions. I don't do interviews. Thank you for listening. Trying to get around as much as I can. I'm way in the back. Here he comes, watch out. Do you understand? I don't know anyone in this room, except my friend Tom, of course, I work with. Do you understand? I'm asking, you don't have to raise your hand and answer me. How is this happening? And if you have time at the end, I will show you what psychic is. Not what people claim it is. It's very different. I gotta go. I hope this is wrong. No, I hope it's wrong. No. Oh, it is a little bit wrong. Okay? I came out of the legal law enforcement. My whole family's cop. My father was a cop. My son was in the 75th. My uncle was a police commissioner of the New York City Police Department on the day of Oscar. I worked for the feds for 10 years. I also worked for the National Police in the third department. So I don't fool around. Right? You don't have to answer this. Did someone physically try to strangle one of you or someone in your family? Come on. Get it out. Did someone throw your hands around your neck and threaten them against the wall? Who threatened to hurt somebody so badly? Yes, your brother what? Have you hurt somebody? Yes, ma'am. I was over there, and they told me to come to the last will. You don't have to stick up with place. You don't have to answer. Okay? I'm cutting loose on that. You're not obligated. What's your name? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. The young lady to your right is who? Nice to meet you, ma'am. My pleasure. My youngest brother was next door with his partner. He's a doctor. He's a craniological nurse. Okay, it is you guys. And they've been together probably 15 years. I think they just celebrated 12 years of marriage. Awesome. Nice to meet you, ladies. God bless you both. But if you've got a brother, you said the name, Rich, didn't you? Didn't you say the name? Or you said your brother? Forgive me. Okay, I'm sorry. With respect, is he still with us? Okay. People ask me, how come I don't know? Because I don't know. And I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. My brother. Your brother, either he was married, or he took on somebody else, or he got angry with somebody. But they're telling me that someone connected to your enemy to points. Someone connected to your family really is a nasty guy and has a lot of intensity in him. And he went after somebody with real bad intentions. Yes or no? With respect, this is public, so I'm not asking. How do you know that? Was he locked up for it? Did he get arrested for it? Did he go to jail for it? Yeah. Did he go stay? You know, he stayed local in the Riverhead County, right? For assault. I'm not talking shoplifting, right? But the key is, admitting that he tried to kill someone. That was his intentions. Now, I'm not trying to knock your brother. People can sometimes have something happen and you lose your mind. Fueled by drugs and alcohol sometimes fueled by rage, someone's cheating on you, someone's breaking into your house. There's a lot of justifiable reasons but you may want to protect your family. Someone walks in and comes into the window, you may throw them on the floor. This is not this. This almost feels like revenge or a sense of rage. Yes or no? Do you still speak with him? I didn't think so. I'm going to say something else. This is very difficult to make me share, but I have to share it. Was there a person in the family that was placed in a nursing home against their will? Come on.
I don't think against it.
Okay, come back to me. What's your name again? I live Listen. Who are you again? Jude. Okay. Hey, Jude. You got like a mood here. Right? And just there are people as they get older, right? I'm not sure. My dad died at home at almost 94. My mother passed in Queens Hospital. It took 3 days to cross. My brother was there. My brother works there with his father. They both work in the same hospital. And when my mother got really ill, my brother said, "My God, she was all take me." I know. And a couple of days later, she passed. Right? But there are people that the family is kind of like in a quasi place, right? They're wandering, they're sick, they need more assistance, they need more medications, they need more supervision. I get it. And sometimes the family may approach that person and say, "Listen, move on. Wish you a happy house over here or something, or this place or that place." And they go, "I don't want to go there, I want to stay home." But under coercion, under softening, promising a trip to Disney World or something, you kind of get their honeys to go into the place, and they never come out. And they died there. And when they died there, you will miss them. Yes or no? No, this is not an attack. I hope you understand. It's a copycat. When they passed, you simply weren't present. I'm not saying you had evil in your heart not to be there. That's fine. I don't care what happens to them. But you helped assist them to that place. They're crossing over in this place. And what happens is that to you, they wind up crossing over in absence. Yes? May I ask who that is? With all respect, you beautiful as a soul. And she's the one that knows of her son who has this issue. She's the one telling you this very specific story about your biological brother could have killed somebody and still probably has that edge of flame in him. Right? So much so that you and your beautiful partner cannot deal with it. You want to stay safe with the violent personality says that, yes or no? Okay? So just know that your lady's got your back. She's standing right here. And I'm not saying this because you're weepy. I don't do that bullshit. I curse a little bit. You want me to just punch it? But you know that you had to do what you had to do. You knew you were doing it for her best interest. Does her heart hurt for her child, her boy? Of course. Okay? I never met you before. Thank you for listening. If you hear from bird feathers and butterflies, no disrespect. And I'm going to share this once, because people pay attention. I'm going to share this once. And I'm not here to hurt you. How are you, sir? Good. I should have got a coffee myself. But I want you to, don't throw anything. Okay? I was talking to some of the young women over here before about the red cardinal. You know the red cardinal? People like that red cardinal, don't they? Okay, don't get upset. The red cardinal is very comforting to a lot of people. I have no argument with that. None. I think it's a beautiful bird. I have them on my property. I'm sure you have them on your properties. It makes people feel better. And they are told that when the red cardinal shows up, the presence of their loved one is nearby. That's the storyline, yes or no? And many people attach to it. And a lot of psychics promote it. With respect, not myself. I ask my audiences, what do people in Alaska do? Now you can giggle, no problem. What do people do in Louisiana down in the Bayou country who were killed in Katrina? There's no red birds down there. Well, what do they do? And the answer is they make up something else. In Psych 101, this is called grief conversion. I don't know what to do, so I will invent something to make me feel better. And other psychics have told me to believe in it, and I choose to believe in it. Because it makes me feel better, because I don't know what else to do. You understand that? And no disrespect to you ladies and gentlemen here. If you choose that path, so be it. Just understand what you're doing. Their soul is right like this. And instead of finding it out, it's easy to pick a bird and say, make me feel better. You understand that? I want no part of that stuff. Other people like it. You may enjoy it with other mediums. Go for it. You will never hear those words come out of my mouth. Not once. And at the end, I'll show you what psychic is. What you're seeing right now is the result of it. This is not psychic. This is the result of psychic. It's different. I'm over here. Let me get some water. She's going to need water. I'm teasing right now. Whether you realize it or not, it's a celebration of love. I hope you understand it, or I would not be standing here. These are love letters. I hope you understand. That's some kind of magic nonsense tricks. As you can tell, I don't know anybody. There's no tricks going on. Would you agree? Not because of me. I'm just a door. It's a gift of grace that moves through me because my boss asked me to help people who have grief. Period. Period. End of conversation. Okay? This is how you two guys hooked up. And I'm just asking for it. Name your name, young lady?
Kelly.
Nice to meet you, Miss Kelly.
Helen.
Helen, nice to meet you, Miss Helen. Please listen. No, just don't mind my faces. Now, don't mind this. It's hard to explain. All right, I'm trying to. Oh my God. Please listen. I have 2 adult daughters, an adult wife, all are still around. And in the family of women, I got boys too, of course, breast tissue is very sensitive. Would you all agree? And for most women, I would suggest everyone in this room, you better be getting mammographies, you better be taking care of your health, right? You don't want to come have a nightmare later, like I'm seeing here. Would you want to know somebody that had a breast and or breasts removed? Who had the breast cancer?
Family members of my mom,
Okay, well,
but they're still here.
okay, I didn't say they were crossed.
Okay.
Listen to me, what you got again?
Helen.
Now, listen to me carefully. Something's not up. You're not telling me something. I'm not saying you're lying. I have to reinterpret what I'm seeing. They're making me feel someone had breast cancer, or is in the moments of breast cancer treatment, some protocols of it. There are some variations of radiation, whatever you folks get to help you get past a very serious cancer. I mean, it's brutally, and I understand on Long Island it's 1 in 9, 1 in 8. I get the obvious. If you mention breast cancer to a whole group of women, I assure you people know people. I'm not talking about, this is called, you know what a cold session is? In this work? You know what a cold session is? A cold session is this. A cold session means somebody over here has this. That's called a sweep. And I assure you, someone's going to, oh, that's me, that's mine. Oh, boy. Well, do what you want with it. Just do what you want with it. But when they bring me to specific people, as you've been watching, it's because they want to talk about a particular topic. Now, getting back, because I want to move along. They're making me feel someone had this, yes? But they're making me feel either when they had their breast examined, whether it be manually, through a mammography, through a CAT scan, they found something else under the surface. A secondary cancer growing behind the breast wall, either in the rib lining or in the mediastinum of the chest. Yes or no?
Yes.
She doesn't know what you're talking about. How do you know that? That's a very specific reference.
Yes, my aunt. I speak with her regularly.
Okay, with respect. Yeah, I'm not trying to make anybody nervous. Is that your mom's sister?
Yes.
Okay, let's go there.
Yes.
She's telling me you have a biological sister connected to your mother.
Yes.
that you know as a fact has breast cancer, and you also know as a fact they rediscovered a secondary cancer below and behind that breast, not in her hiney or downtown or something, behind here. That's where the problem is going to be. They may be able to get this under control. This is going to cause them grief. Now this part's also very sensitive. If somebody accidentally knocked out somebody's eye, who went blind in an eye?
My husband has eye issues.
Is he blind in an eye?
He has blind spots.
That's it. Now you can have that due to a genetic an abnormality. You can get hit with New York City grade firefighters, cops on the job, military guys, get a kickback with something, and you can be blinded. Remember, I worked at the Helen Keller Center for Blind People, right? I've had children that use firecrackers and they blew out their own eye, right? It's a nightmare, right? There's no coming back. They have a prosthesis put in. It looks like a dead eye, it looks like almost, right? And they're only this big. It's heartbreaking, but I love those children. And that's why I try to help them. But with respect, if you're telling me your husband has vision issues, I'm not trying to get you upset. They're making a big ruckus over this. So I don't know who he's seeing ophthalmologically, it's a fancy word for eye doctor, or if he's seeing a cancer specialist to the eyes, something. Would you know if one eye is much more challenged than the other?
Yes.
So why would I mention that to you? Because the woman that is around, now, her sister has crossed?
No. Her sister's still here.
That's the sister still here. Okay, because someone is showing me the situation with the aunt, and she showed me the situation about your husband. And your husband's mother is still around,
Yes.
right? And the father too?
No.
No. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not trying to get information, but I know there's a soul pushing big time about this. Now, would you know offhand if your husband really didn't talk with his dad that much?
No, he did.
Where's the one that's estranged then?
My husband's brother is estranged.
That's it. Now, the word strange means you're a stranger to me, right? You are a stranger to us now, therefore we use the word, compress it into estranged, right? Mm-hmm. Not living in Texas, they didn't move to Montana, because they saw Yellowstone and they have to live in a mountaintop or something. They're here, but you don't speak to them, which means you, with respect, the man you call husband, his own biological brother, is not around. That's it. Never had the pleasure of meeting you. Where'd all that come from? I'm asking you to ask yourselves. Otherwise, you're only watching me. You understand that? Okay? So, that brother's around too. He's estranged. So everybody I've described to you is estranged, yes? And here's the last little segment. Okay? This between, was someone caught in a fire? Did someone die of inhalation of something? And no one didn't take something that ended their life. I disagree. No alcoholism, nothing like that. There's no ingestion issues. A little bit.
My husband has lung cancer.
That's it. That's all I need. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off so abruptly. You know you're facing some challenges, right? What is his name?
Richard.
Would you mind if I prayed for him later? May I have your permission to do this? Thank you. I don't play. If you're here to be played with, you got the wrong guy. Me here. You all right over there?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking of.
Yeah, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Sometimes stuff that comes through is, life can be sad, right? Life has painful moments, right? There's a really beautiful quote by Melvin Ruby. Man, I probably don't know who that is. He's one of my heroes. Died in the 12th century. Haven't met the guy. But he wrote, in order to have your heart fully open to God's grace, it has to be broken many times. So we go away to heaven. Right? Be careful of the public place. Be able to cool it. Please? No. Who the hell? Are you guys all separate from each other? Are you one?
We're all friends.
Are you on parole? What are you doing? So you two women are together, and these three women are together. All right. It could be here, it could be there. I'm not sure yet. She's so sweet. You also love it. You want to have a good time, don't you? Nobody gets this serious. Sometimes people have very bad headaches, no? Like I'm giving you one right now. Right? People can get bad headaches, right? And now sometimes headaches don't lift. They seem to be like migraines. You'll always find them. They're showing me someone who had a small bleed in the head, like a drip, like the beginning of a stroke forming, or they had some kind of a tumor, like a small baby tumor in the skull. You guys not understand this? That's right, yeah. It's got to be right. I may be off by a row. I'm sorry. Forgive me, girls. I could be off by 2 feet. It's not over here. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't want to set you up and walk away from you, but I have to make sure the soul is going. I'm only off by a row. Let's see. Thank you. It could be. I don't want you to make it fit. Please don't do that. All right. Many people, oh, I found somebody. If I said to you guys, you know someone that had a heart attack. Yeah, you're not kidding. Oh, amazing psychic. I mean, people are so desperate. You know, when you're starving. I lived in Japan. I'm not leaving. I lived in Japan 4 times. I studied with one Zen master for 21 years. In my Buddhist tradition, I'm a Buddhist as well as a Roman Catholic. In my Buddhist tradition, they said I got hit with kensho. I was struck with lightning. In my Catholic tradition, the priests and the deacons got me aside one day, and they said, Robert, you received the gift of grace. I hope you take care of it. And of course, I saw them this morning at Mass. I go to church 7 days a week. Not to Mass, just to visit. Not because I'm religious. Because this young man gave me a gift 27 years ago. It guides my whole life. Understand? And I'm just working for him. And I'm not trying to be I'm not a religious man. I'm trying to have you understand. It's not something I just said, I think I'm going to do psychic stuff now. It explodes in me. Okay? And if we have time later, I'll talk with to these beautiful women here. How are you two? Who the hell are you? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Is this okay? May I continue? I don't want to upset your mother or yourself. I was describing, which I thought was here, but the flow was just a little bit over that. Someone had either bleeds in the head. Yes. Now, if you get hit with a baseball bat in a game, the bat flies out of your hand and cracks someone in the head, or you fall on a flight of stairs and you split your skull open on a cement stoop. I'm not referring to this. This is like a sprinkling effect. Like little bleeds, which swelling up would create like a stroke effect, and or the other interpretation would be little bitty cancer spots, little bitty tumor spots in the head. But it feels to me more like vascular, like it's a bleed issue. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Now, Mom, do you understand what she's talking about? If they're small and they're insignificant, you may not even realize it. Right? Mm-hmm. But then the headaches can begin, the pressure begins, balance starts to go, things begin to change. And sometimes people write down and you just can't wake them up again. You understand that? Mm-hmm. Yes or no?
Yes.
You sure about this?
Mm-hmm.
Did you try to wake them up?
No.
And how do you know that happened?
Because I was my grandmother and she was under anesthesia and she had an integrated hemorrhage.
And she had a what?
Oh, a head bleed.
Okay, but you were there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I just asked you. You said, how were you there? You said,
Oh, well.
That's okay. Don't be nervous. Please don't be nervous. I hope I'm not making you nervous. But is that your mom's mom? Your dad's mom? Mm-hmm. Okay, get to grandmother. I want to do it. Mm-hmm. So if you're telling me your dad's mom, who you were close to, I take it, at some point? Mm-hmm. Yes? Perhaps you lived with her, perhaps you were very close to her, maybe she lived with you, maybe you saw her every Saturday, Sunday, whatever it was. How do you know again? And your name again?
Michelle.
Michelle, hi. And who are you?
Lori.
Hi, Lori. You almost forgot it. If you're telling me that your beautiful grandmother had a series of bleeds in the brain, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And that led to her final days, yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, not just something they fixed and they repaired and she got hit by a train. You know, one of these little crosswalks you get hit, that to kill her. That's not her. But she's telling me she was dying. And you know, if that's occurring or she's in the middle of a procedure, or that is occurring, yes? Are you a nurse? Do you work in medicine? Okay, well you could have just been the guest that was visiting, and they said, could you please step outside? We have to handle this now, right or wrong. But either you were specialing her, you were standing at her side, she went to the hospital you worked at, there was something very familiar with you and her.
Mm-hmm.
So not only are you an RN, yes, or an MA or a PA or LPN, whatever your role may be in medicine, so you're not an attorney or you don't own your own pottery company, right? You work in that field, and your grandmother was being guided by your best efforts to help her. No, I would take it in your personality. You're certainly seeing that way, because she's making me feel, despite my granddaughter's best efforts, it went sideways, and she wound up crossing. Does that make any sense? Okay, so this is your dad's mom. Why does she make me feel she has her son with her? Does she have another child that crossed? Who lost the child very well? Oh, you did. I'm sorry. You're sorry.
My nephew. My nephew.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, you represent your clan. Is that your brother's wife's child? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Young, though. Has to be young.
Yes.
Has to be young. Because she's rocking a young infant or toddler on her arms. If the audience was not here, I would stay with you for an hour. But I can't do that. Not that I want to do it, but this is kind of what I'm bound to a little bit, you know? I'm going to say something to you. Do you know the parents of that baby?
My brother.
I'm just asking politely. You understand? There are children that are found deceased, right? Swimming pools, car crashes, horrible things. And then there are children that get sick. Yes or no?
Yes.
That's this.
Mm-hmm.
You know if they went into a NICU or PQ unit or pediatrics?
Yes.
Ma'am. And they went in and never came home.
Yes.
And would you know what pain if they told them there was a chance the child was coming out and it changed? You can say no if you're not sure. It feels that way. Like they would give it a ray of hope.
Yes.
Which you want, listen, I just met the other day a nurse. I was doing an appearance, and she worked in a NICU unit, right? And of course, many of the children, thank God, get a chance to go home. But this poor woman and her and the team have to tell parents almost every day that their child is not coming home. Maybe 3 months old, their first child, and they're preparing a funeral. I'd rather jump out that window. Psychic be damned, I go out that window. Right or wrong? Come on, we're still humans here, right? But I'm just telling you, this beautiful grandmother is connected to this reading, and she's rocking this baby, going into a pediatric intensive care unit or a NICU unit. So I'm not saying you should run home and call some psychic guy with earrings who's telling me this crap. Now, I'll talk about the earrings in a minute. I'll tell you about my earrings in a minute. I just want you to know. Okay? I'm going to take my earrings. All right, so let me get the earrings out of the way. This is 18. This is 17. 35 years clean and sober. Listen, I lived in hell. You ever live in hotel hell? You'll know. By God's grace and AA, it saved my life. Only 5 out of 100 get rescued from that. Most of them fall. People think because I got sober that this gift was given to me. This came 15 years later. Okay, let me get some more. I'm going to do more. I'm up in the front here. I'm trying to get around. Am I getting around good? I'm trying my best to get around. You can see the here or there. It's only like nothing. It's either right in here or here. This is very important. This doesn't collapse. Okay. I hope this is wrong. I want to be wrong on this reading. Would one of you want, either for these two young ladies or right here, you know if someone was pushed out a window or off a roof? Before you say no, did someone fall to their death? No 9/11, nothing like that. I'm going to do it again. This is right. Did someone accidentally slip out a window? Someone didn't go down a dumbwaiter shaft? Someone didn't fall down a flight of stairs and was found dead at the bottom of a stairway? I would be shocked if this is wrong. Where does the cop come in? Who's got a cop in the family? A lot of people have law enforcement. No one?
Well, I have two cousins that are detectives. I don't know if that means anything.
No. Oh, this is right. I'm sorry. I got to do it again. When you have a funeral, sometimes people put a shield, or they have displays of law enforcement or fire department stuff. Are you sure that didn't happen with anybody here?
My husband was a volunteer fireman.
Okay, I want to go there. I'm going to sit. Can I sit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I want to come back. And how are you women connected?
My stepbrother.
Okay. Nice to meet you, sweetheart. So, if you work as a volunteer or you work for the FDNY, when there's trouble, these guys go running into houses. I mean, give me a break. Whether you're out here in Suffolk County or in the city with the big stuff, the heart is the same heart, right? You put yourself in harm's way for somebody else, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're heroes. Well, that's my opinion. I hope everybody sees it the same way as I do. I don't know, but I certainly hope so, right? If your husband has crossed over with respect to you, he had a wake? Did he have a funeral? Did you have a service for him? He wasn't. Some people just get cremation, goodbye, you're done. And I'm not knocking that. I'm not saying that as a judgment. Some people just prefer to have a little bit more time. They want to have a compassionate finish, and so on. Yes?
Yes.
When your husband was laid out, right? You had him laid out?
Yes.
Were there references to his work, or did volunteer firefighters show up?
Yes.
Did your husband have a shield or an ID badge?
He was buried in his uniform.
Yes. That's what I was referring to. Come back to me. What's your name?
Lillian.
Hi, Miss Lillian. Who are you? I said, you told me before, Steph. I'm sorry. That's okay, baby. You're doing good. Now, this is your stepdaughter. Is this your dad? Yeah, because he keeps coming to her. No disrespect to you, but he wants this beautiful young woman to know that he's right here, sweetheart. I'm serious. I don't play, baby. Now, if you're telling me that man, your dad, with respect, worked or volunteered for the local firehouse somewhere out here in Suffolk, right? Or he was in that. Okay, whatever it may be. What house did he come out of? What town?
For Washington.
For Washington. It's up by Glen Cove, that neck of the way. That's way up over there. I mean, I worked up there many times, but that doesn't matter. What's important is right now your beautiful daughter, stepdaughter. But he's telling me that his funeral, he had shield stuff or FDNY, not FDNY, but Port Washington Firehouse, the guys with the jackets, and they come in and, perhaps they had a salute, maybe they had a regular motorcade, whatever they may have had. Why does your father keep telling me about someone that fell to their death?
I don't know if Aunt Judy died. Tell her dead. She
No.
died in the fire.
She died.
Did someone die in the fire?
Yes.
Oh, then how do you know they didn't fall?
Because she went back in to get the dog.
Okay, I understood. Don't tell me anything else. That's what I was saying, because I asked about the fire before. That's why I came up again. There's something here that either I'm misunderstanding, which is possible. I can certainly misread a little one thing. I don't think I am, though. I don't think I am. But I could, of course. But there's also a reference to a fire. Yes or no? Now, if you're telling me that with respect to your sweetheart, that your father passed on, yes, your dad, he was a firefighter at Port Washington. I'm repeating, I understand that. And you had the funeral and the shield and the badges and all of that. you said to me, without, you're not supposed to tell me something, you kind of accidentally did. No, it's all right, it happened. I had reference to fire. So if you're telling me someone went back in to get their animal, trying to save the animal's life, and they got trapped in there, or things fell on them, or smoke overcame them, or they got lost in the smoke, and they couldn't find the front door again, they say, I'm going to come right out again, and all hell broke loose, and they, with respect, God have mercy, I hope the smoke took them before the flame.
I met Judy before I was born, so I don't know anything about her.
But you know the story. So I have this person here that died in the fire with the man who's your father coming in together. Are they brother and sister? That's them. Now, in the family, and you know, there are different holidays, right? I mean, the United States has got, it seems like Japan is worse. Japan's like a holiday every other day. They got like 100 holidays, these guys. They're nuts. But in the States, we got a fair amount. I mean, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, the whole bit, right? So in my opinion, when someone says that I can tell someone died around the holiday, give me a break. You're within 6 weeks of a holiday, no matter which direction you look. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right or wrong?
Yes.
I mean, come on. But this is applying here. Either someone died on a holiday itself, but you know what they're talking? Not talking. Where does Valentine's Day come in with you guys?
Got engaged for Valentine's.
Say it to me. Did you and your husband get engaged? Was it, now right before, I don't need December. Was it a few days prior?
It's Valentine's Day, yes.
On saying, okay, now I understand it's a romantic holiday. You're a beautiful young woman. I'm sure you married a great guy. Yes, I get all of that. But not everybody. I certainly didn't get it. I got married on August 25th. Nowhere near Valentine's Day, right? My daughter got married September 7th, which is my parents' their anniversary date. My oldest daughter got married on that day. So we don't have any of this stuff, but here it's true. So if you're telling me that you and the man you're married to, and he proposed to you, and went to the knee and the ring, hopefully he did, that's kind of cool stuff, right? That's one habit you don't want to lose, right? And that was the day you chose to say, yes, I accept it, and you went forward to get married, yes?
Yes.
And your dad's the guy I'm describing, yes?
Yes.
And he's the one that's standing here telling me that his daughter gets married or gets engaged right before Valentine's Day. Now, the audience might say, well, a lot of people get engaged on Valentine's Day. That may be true. Not in my world, but it's definitely true in your world. Right or wrong?
Yeah, right before.
Yeah. Now, here's the part that's also interesting. Did someone have a birth defect of the feet? Oh, wait.
Birthday what?
Birth defect.
Not a birthday, a birth defect of the feet or the lower legs.
No birth defect.
Did someone have turned in feet? Did someone have webbed toes? Did someone have club feet at birth? It's correct.
Duck feet.
Who did?
I think of.
I'm
My
just
dad.
asking. That means they went out.
Yeah.
Okay, then stay with me. The average person walks in normal strides. Now, if you have a bad knee or you have a bad hip, you may have a little, but it's driven by a particular injury. Yes?
Yeah, usually.
Well, yeah. But if you're telling me out of the womb, your dad developed over time, his hips pulled out, his legs bowed a little bit, and he had kind of a waddle walk when he walked, right?
Yeah, but I had duck feet when he went on the side.
I'm just asking. Yeah, I'm just asking. I'm not trying to talk into anything. But he wants me to talk about his feet. Now, if you're telling me that's a little byproduct, I mean, if you said this to me, I said, my father had regular feet. He was a cop for 20 years. I mean, he didn't waddle. He had to run after bad guys. He couldn't waddle. My father was a hell of an athlete. He was in really good shape. So that didn't occur. I'm not knocking a person with that, please. But if you're telling me it was a footnote in your family, or daddy waddles when he walks, or there's a step that he does, or something makes people giggle, daddy, why are you walking like a duck? Anything similar to that, I just need to know. Yes or no?
And duck feet.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
But what's more important is this man is a firefighter.
Yeah.
And he's with a woman that went into a house to save her dog. With that part you told me, who burned and smoked and never came out. Who's Judy? Judy?
Judy, the sister.
That's his sister. And Robert is who, like my name? Who's Ronnie? Rose?
Robert's
Robert.
Robert? That's my brother-in-law. He's here.
Okay. All messages are for the living.
Okay.
Robert's a kind of a common name.
Uh-huh.
The odds of you knowing a Robert are probably pretty high. But if that's your brother-in-law, that's either your sister's husband?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's still with us, as you would obviously saying to me, right or wrong? Right? Last little bit, then I got to get up and move again. Okay? There's an insistence on someone that one of you or both of you saw when they were dying. You went to visit them or say hello to them. Yes?
Yes.
And like within 2 minutes after leaving, they died. Same hour, an hour later at the most.
I didn't leave him.
You weren't, did you were standing there and you saw it? You're not telling me something. This is a person you would, the only other interpretation would be you went to see him never expecting them to die.
That's true.
Okay, stay with me. Okay, I gotta stand up because I gotta move again. Listen to me. What's your name again?
Lillian.
Listen to me. There are people that are terminally ill, and the hospice team says tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, they're here. We're going to put the patches on. You'll have a chance to say goodbye. They're suffering too much. We have to let them go. Yes? And that's an arranged period of discontinuance. It's set up. It's on the calendar. Tomorrow morning, this person or this man or this woman is going to move along. Right? And you tell people, if you want to come see them because tomorrow they're going. Right? And then there's the other storyline, which is you go to visit just to say hello, and they die right in front of you when you're there. You understand?
Yeah.
You're more like the first story. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You got more like the second story. Excuse me. You went to visit them, yes, thinking it's a visit, or they're not doing well, but they're struggling. I got that part, obviously. But if you tell me they died right when you were there, right, and the medical team didn't come in and say they're dying right now, no. Why would I know that? Who was that to you?
That was my husband.
Okay. And then you got remarried?
No.
Well, that's a stepdaughter. Oh, this is your father. You married the guy with the child.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. Okay. So the man that this beautiful young lady married is your pop. How cool is he? And so he brings this beautiful young lady into your life.
Yeah.
Right? Remember, I said this before, and I'll say it again. I don't know you. The only way I would know this is because that man who loves you so much is right here. I'm moving, I'm going. You can't make this happen. It rises in me like a wind. You're watching it, right? What you're seeing right now is the result. The result. No magic powers, no magic powers, no magic powers. I'm just wrong. The key is, when people tell you, with all respect, that, okay, Robert's here, now they will come. You ever hear this crap? You ever hear it? Oh yes, oh my God, so-and-so is here, now they're going to walk through the walls, they're going to come up through the floor. And wait, and then at the end of the time, they say, well, we got to finish now. I have to let them go back. They have to go through the veil again. They have to return home. You ever hear it?
Yes.
How dare they? How dare they? And I've met them, not to attack them. I said, you're telling me a mother buried a 3-year-old baby who drowned in her pool, and you're telling that mother that the child now has to go back to Neverland, and the only way that mother can have contact with her child that has died is through you? A disgrace. A disgrace. Folks, they never leave you. I can't get to everybody, but they're trying to show you all what you hope is true, that love never separates. And also, it never ends. You cannot become right here without it. Does that make sense? There's only 4 ways that you can have your life interrupted. There's only 4 ways. Illness can hit you, which is endless. Yes or no? You can have your life interrupted by some kind of an injury. Hit by a car, hit a motorcycle, break your neck swimming, something like that. Yeah? 3, interruption of life, which most people call suicide. I never use that word. Ever, never. You ask me why, I will tell you. I'll just keep moving. And then, of course, there is murder. Right? I mean, parents who have had their children murdered. Murdered. 8-year-olds. I just read one last week. Right? Okay. That's probably dynamic. I'm just trying to explain to you what I receive. There's no game. I see grief at its worst. Right? And my boss asked me to heal. So I'm doing it. With respect, now you guys all one group? You said that pretty quick. Oh, I'm not with that! Nobody, don't put me with those groups. Would one of you know someone, I mean close, that was struck either an impact or was found to the side of a road?
Yes.
I know you do. It's one thing to say someone had a fender bender on the LIE, right, and they broke their arm and they're crying, and which is understandable, and then the great cops show up and they take them by ambulance and off they go. But there's no one found dead on the side of the road. It's just a car accident, right or wrong. Okay. What's your name? Okay. There are people that get injured in a car crash, and it's really bad. And they rush to Smith County, this rush, I don't know the hospital out here, Babylon, Facial, whatever you guys got places, Good Sam, wherever you're going. And they say, put them in the ER, this is really bad. Right? We'll try to do what we can, stitch, cut, whatever they do. And then I found that at the side of the road. So I'm very clear about my language here. You ready? Was someone found dead at the side of the road? I didn't think that's why I wasn't with you. You know, someone was found on the side of the road, or they were tossed out of the vehicle near death.
No. Found on the side of the road.
Okay, stay with me. Not you vehicular. So they collapsed, drug overdose, someone hurt them. Okay, that's all I want. I have to interpret. My first interpretation would be to be found on the side of the road dead, or near death, dying, wounded, hurt, some variation. In other words, they can't get up and walk down the street by themselves, is my point. And it's not a court of law, right? My first reflex is this was some kind of a motorcycle flipping a guy or a car accident flipping a guy, like a hit and run driver, hit and smash him to the ground. That would be my first instinct. But you're kind of suggesting that's not what happened, correct? You're telling me someone wasn't hit and run?
Yes.
Oh, that's what I told you. You know, lean on this for a second.
You just mentioned that.
So you're telling me, I'm not right. Yeah, I'm a little nutty. But you're telling me someone was clipped by something. In the air, the body goes. The driver says, I don't care. No one's going to catch me. Right? And they leave someone, they're laying on the ground, moaning and groaning with their legs broken or their back broken or some horrible injury. And eventually someone notices or someone saw it or someone picked up on it. There was that terrible thing, I think it was out east, with the guy that hit those Boy Scouts or something. That better not be this. No. I almost lost my mind when I saw that story. That was a nightmare, that guy. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway. So if you're telling me of someone close to your heart, someone that you know,
Someone that I know.
that dating, friends, school, work, wherever, socially doing, and they got hit, ambulance eventually gets there, I take it. You know if they've crossed?
Yes.
As a result of that?
Yes.
That's it. Now, if you said that happened when I was 10, I remember my friend down the street had that happen. They died of cancer 30 years later. This is not this person. Can I ask how they connected to you?
My brother's friend, one of my brother's best friends.
Okay, fair enough. I mean,
This
it's
is
all
very surprising to me right now.
Well, the point is, they have no one else to represent them in this room but you. Yes or no?
Yes.
And if they need their voice to be heard, they're going to trust you. They're trusting you more than they're trusting me. They're only trusting me to interpret. They're trusting you to know who I'm talking about. Does that make any sense? Yeah. I know that breast thing came up earlier before, that was talking about, that's coming up again.
Mhm.
Now, let's be clear. I have two beautiful daughters, my wife. I understand sensitivity of breast tissue with you. I mean, I get it. And it's very sensitive for a guy to talk about it. There's several things here. Now, you both seem to know this. I take it, I'm just talking a little more logically at the moment. I think there will be women who don't think they have something wrong and they ignore stuff. And then there are people that don't go for a checkup, don't want to go for a checkup, and then they find a lump, and the doctor, the person that does the breast work says, how long have you had this? How long have you known you've had this? And they, blah, 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 and they say, well, you should have been here a year ago, 2 years ago. That's going on now. Or it took someone's life. Who had, you keep kind of looking at her, who had this situation?
We have a mutual best friend.
Yeah, we.
Okay, so you're telling me you've got a close friend that was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 2, stage 3, something a little more evolved. It's not, doesn't come across as like a star, one and you're done. It feels like there's going to be stuff here. Perhaps surgical implications are involved. Maybe they're having mastectomies now. Ongoing.
Mhm.
I don't know you two. This is the miracle of communication. You understand? Now, between the two of you, did one of you, this is odd, did somebody have two people in the hospital at the same time? Or did two people die in the same hospital at different times? That's what I want. Who are those people?
My mother-in-law, my brother-in-law.
Both died in the same facility
Correct.
at different times, though.
Correct.
Your brother-in-law, that would make it your husband's brother?
His sister's husband.
Sister's husband. And mother-in-law meaning?
His mother.
His mother. But it's not your mother-in-law.
Yes, my mother-in-law. My husband's mother.
Oh, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that makes it closer to you. Oh, there we go. So if you're telling me your husband's mother, with respect, what's your name?
Teresa.
Hi, Teresa. And you were your name?
Tracy.
Tracy, you did say it. If you're telling me that your husband's mother has crossed, yes?
Yes.
And she is the same woman that died in the same place as the brother-in-law,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The same facility.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like 30 years apart, though. It feels like a
No.
couple of years or a couple of months. It doesn't feel far.
A couple years.
Yeah. And the same, and you know this to be true? Okay. For some reason, they're bringing up these stories. So they're telling me about this person who was hit by a hit-and-run driver on the side of the road and eventually died of those injuries. That knows you. Yes? I mean, that's where I'm getting it from. There may be others here. See, I can't give it to you unless they show it to me. Otherwise, I start making up crap and asking a million questions, and I might as well go home. Well, I mean, it's just absurd. It's absurd. But when you tell outsiders that you're talking to dead people, and that's the sales pitch, they expect a dialogue to take place. Well, why won't they tell you? You understand the problem with this? It's just bogus. It's straight up nonsense. Right? This next part is crazy. Man. Sometimes people have abdominal surgeries, don't they? People can have abdominal surgeries, kidney surgeries, liver surgery, lung surgery. Right? I mean, it's part of the area. You guys know somebody that had abdominal surgery and they had to leave the intestines exposed. They had to leave it open for like a day. Yes. Are you sure about this? Who had the part of their intestinal wall removed? Who had a resection of their lower colon? Oh my God, yes, it's here and here. That's it. Don't go far. No, don't go far. Don't go far. You know my friend John Edwards? You guys know John? I know John 25 years. He would sometimes say this. Are you guys together? No, I don't know each other. Well, you're together now. Because the souls are trying to bring the reading to somebody. What's your name? Kathy. With respect. I'm not asking if someone had an upset stomach, or someone had cancer to the colon. Unfortunately, very common, very big. You may have reproductive issues that become cancerous, etc., etc. Yes or no?
I have that.
Go far, go far. Don't shy away, it's fine. I just don't want people to give me information. Right?
Right.
Stop it. Well, this is extremely important. You go to see somebody, you keep your mouth shut. Make them bring it to you. I'm just giving you my advice. You do what you want when you leave me. Please, do what you want. No disrespect to anybody in this room. I just do not operate like that. When you're dealing with wounded people, they're very vulnerable, and I have an ethical, moral responsibility not to play off of that. Fair enough? Okay. Would you know the person that had an intestinal surgery? Yes, intestines. And they left their stomach open. They had to leave it exposed for like a day or two. And with respect, that's not for you. I'm telling you that's inaccurate.
Maybe that happened and I wasn't aware.
That's fine. It's very possible. I could misunderstand too. I don't think so. Right? But they're making me feel someone had an OBGYN issue. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, you can have it with respect to language, right? You have the ovaries, you have the uterine, cervical area, etc., etc., etc. Did someone have cervical cancer? Did someone have,
Yes.
okay, now, my wife, when she was very young and unmarried, she had a, no, on her ovary, she had a cyst, and she had that removed, and she's cool, right? I'm not referring, this is life, right? Yes, and they're making me feel when they first went in, they didn't expect it to be this way, and all of a sudden, all hell broke loose, right? It either came in after a pregnancy,
Yes.
someone had just delivered a baby,
Yes.
and they opened up her tummy and they said, here's this beautiful baby, but whoa, you are full of cancer. And it wound up taking their life. Are they still with us?
No.
Well, either they take their life, or did they die of something else?
Something
Is that what
else.
you're asking? That's what you're applying.
Yes.
Okay, I can't tell you what that is unless they show it to me, I have to move along. But if you're telling me someone crossed over who had surgery to the belly during a delivery of a child, no?
Post-delivery.
Post-delivery of a child. I'm not talking 8 years later.
No, like within.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. And they went back in, reopened her up, whatever they had to do, and they said, we don't like what we saw, we're gonna go back and look again. And they said, this is terminal. Well, it's close to it. Did they wind up dying of this?
No.
They wound up dying of something else,
Yes.
which we just acknowledged. How are they connected to you?
My mother.
Oh, your mama. Oh, I'm sorry. Then you know this to be a fact, yes?
Absolutely.
The baby that you delivered,
Yes.
that survived, yes?
Yes.
Is that you? Who is that, your brother or
So my
sister?
brother, that's whose friend came.
Okay, that's it, that's the reason.
Mm.
Okay? Thank you. What time is it?
118.
I'm over here. Let me say something to you guys. Is this okay that I'm telling this stuff? Are you learning a little bit? Hope you're learning a little bit. I said this earlier, I don't do shows. I'm not a performer. You hear for that crap. I tell my audiences, I'll just go home. I'll just go home. To turn the death of a child into a show, what's wrong with your mind? To turn it, if the child has passed, there has to be dignity and quietness, yes or no? Right? Not turn the death of their child into a show where people are going, oh, that's great. I have no patience for it. I really don't. And, whatever they may be doing, they may be doing. Yes? Now, are you two women together?
Yes,
I'm just asking softly. May I ask how you're connected?
my best friend.
Okay, fair enough. Best friends are good things to have, right? There aren't many people out there with best friends, you know. They have casually good friends, but best friends is pretty good. Please listen. Don't mind my heads at all. I'm just kind of tuning in the antenna. Sometimes people can have multiple heart problems, yes? Yes or no? Would one of you know the person that had a heart condition? Now, a heart condition can be anything from a little stent to a murmur to a legitimately bad situation. But they're making me feel someone had a heart condition. and either they had open heart surgery, they had some kind of repair work done, and they were told that they were okay after this. And they weren't. And the heart condition continued. And either with respect to your beautiful mother, either her heart again became more damaged. Did your mom pass of a heart attack? What's your name, please?
Nancy.
Hi, Nan. And young lady?
Tony.
Hi, Tony. Yeah, I take it you know her mother since you're best friends? Because this could have happened when she was 5 and you didn't know each other. Right? Okay. So if you're telling me respectfully that your beautiful mother had a heart problem, she goes to a cardiologist, she goes to a heart person, yes? Did she have any workup done?
She did.
Don't give me much information. Simple question. Did she have medical help to her heart? Did they tell her, someone advised her, suggest to her, we got it figured out, you'll be all right?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. Rather than saying, listen, this is done, you're done. We'll never get this heart back, you're finished. You know, that kind of a comment. They wouldn't say it quite like that, but I'm sure that's what they say. Listen, this heart is so badly damaged, you better do your will. I mean, or something. You're not going to get past a week, right? But this woman is making me feel that she had a heart problem. And if you really listen this afternoon, this was the first time I mentioned the real heart problem. First time. First one. And they turned me around to talk to you two. Right? Okay. Here's the key to this. That soul is making me feel they told them, suggested to them that it was under control. And it didn't last very long, and she wound up dying from it. Yes or no? Why would I say that story to you? Right? Now, I hate to assume anything, because I don't. In my own home, I got married a long time ago. But I know the wedding dress is in a box somewhere up in the attic. I know it's up there.
Mine?
No, my wife's.
Oh.
Your wedding dress is in my attic. You got a real problem. I'll be shot dead in the street. Right? Here's the key. As a beautiful young woman, I don't know if you're married, if you want to marry, I don't know. Obviously, your mother had your dad, mom, and dad. I assume they were married. I don't know. Maybe they just eloped. My parents eloped. And they were married for 67 years, my mom and dad. 67 years, right? But here's the thing. They're bringing up the wedding dress. Now, I just shared with you, I haven't seen a wedding dress from my wife in over 30-something years. I haven't seen it. I know where it is, but I haven't seen it. You know, people get married. My son got married in July. You know, people get married. I'm not asking that question. When was the last time you saw your mother's wedding gown? Come on.
I haven't seen it, but I just found her wedding album.
That's it. That's all I want. Now, if you say I just found pictures of my mother, that's one thing. But if you're saying going through stuff, going through the drawers, going through the closets, putting crap in bags, whatever you're doing, and you discovered her wedding album, which I would take includes pictures of her wedding outfit, you have that home?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I know. Did you just bring it home?
Well, I've had it, but I just haven't really
Opened it. Did you look at it recently?
Yeah.
Oh, so why, young lady, would I mention a wedding dress look viewing of your mother who crossed over? Because she was standing there.
What'd she say?
Watching. When she's not, well, people think they talk, they don't talk. What she's saying is, to prove to my daughter that I'm always at her side, mention this fact. I saw her looking at my wedding album recently, which she hasn't seen in quite some time. I also was told my heart would be getting better, and it took my life. Yes or no?
Yeah, well, she it's kind of a complicated
Of
thing
course.
with her health, but she would have been okay had she followed medical advice.
I'm not saying, everyone says that to me. If I only took the insulin, if I only went back to the cardiologist, if I only didn't ignore the breast tumor, if I only had my seatbelt on, if I only didn't drink that much.
Yeah.
Right, you understand me? But this is...
She was supposed to be okay.
That's what I was telling you. This is how it unfolded. not the modifications that people want to add on to soften the truth. That's a major mistake, and it's also a disrespect to the souls. People alter the truth of something because it makes a better story. Don't do that. Is your mother's wedding ring still missing? Have you been looking for it?
Yeah, I don't
Know where it is?
know. But I don't know that it's missing. I don't.
Have you been looking for it?
I've been looking for. Yeah, I've just kind of been.
Going through stuff?
Yeah.
I understand the obvious. You may check the jewelry.
She's passed away a long time ago.
I understand, but why, well, that even makes my point stronger. Why would you suddenly look at her wedding album? Now, she just died on the summer.
I lost somebody else in my life recently.
Okay, I only can give you what they send.
I don't know why I'm looking. I don't know why.
That's a fair answer. So if you, with respect, if there's a husband figure or someone, the person that has crossed the line, I hope not, but obviously there is somebody. Sometimes people will say to me, how come they're not coming through? No one can answer that. People will claim they have the answer to this, saying, well, they're not ready to speak, they're not ready to come in, they haven't died long enough, they had any time to transition. It just ain't so. I read a family some time ago who lost all 4 of their children in a car crash. All. You guys, this is going back. I should have said, well, you guys remember in Jersey, the terrible. That's it. I read that family. And I read that family. Because the woman was on drugs and she went the wrong way. I read that family. Right? I read that family. And what happened is that the mother had come, the parents had come to see me, or the mother had come to see me, and she wanted all 4 of her kids to tell me something. But only 2 did. Unless you want me to invent stuff and make up stuff, then go ahead. Then you do what you want with that stuff. I make up nothing. I think you've seen that. Can you guys give me 4 minutes? Because we're just at the end of our time together. But I promised to show you something, and I want to do it, if that's okay with you. Now, please understand, I told you at the beginning, there's a big group here. I tried to get to as many people as I can without just saying, oh, I got a nice person here, go out, all that nonsense. You understand? We did about 10, 12 readings already. So I just want to share a little bit with you. And please listen. Please. This is the door. Okay? Have you ever heard the expression, it's a matter of life and death?
Yeah.
Yeah? Raise your hands if you've heard that, please. Good. How many of you know it's never, ever, ever, ever true? Not once is that statement true. But not because of some psychic stuff. As a fact. And I'll prove it to you. The opposite of death is not life. It is not. The opposite of death is birth. Please think. The one you loved had a birthday, they have the dash, and then they have a death day. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes or no? The biological opposites of every living organism is they have a starting point, which we call birth. They have an experiential process, which we call the dash, and then they have a death process. Yes or no?
Yes.
So if birth and death are the opposites, they hold, which we call experience, between them. What is the opposite of life? No such thing. Why is there no answer to this? Because life has no opposite. An alternative term for life would be love. Many people in this business use the word afterlife. You ever hear it?
Yes.
No such thing. There is only what happens after death. As Christians, Catholics, Jewish people, they call it, my friends of the Jewish faith call it my neshama, the soul. In the Christian culture, they call it your soul, same lingo. Yes?
Mhm.
Yes? Okay. And my Hindu friends, they call it the Atman. I don't care what you call it. They're talking about an essence that expands and continues after physical form ends. The ending of physical form is called death. Yes? So when people say there is an afterlife, it is wrong. It is what happens after death. That is correct. Life has no opposite. It would be like saying to you, what is past outer space? I'm waiting for an answer. Well, I'm trying to help you learn. Otherwise, I've just entertained you.
Outer space just keeps going.
That's correct. Same with life. Life is eternal. Now, this is not religion. You know the young man on the cross guy?
Yep.
Okay. Someone asked him, who are you? And he said, I am the Alpha and I am the Omega. Young Jewish kid. Well, he was.
In Brooklyn.
Oh, come on. Why are we being so silly? I'm trying to help you learn something. Right? I don't normally do this, but I really want to help you with something. Someone asked him, who are you? In his way of explaining it, he said, I am the Alpha, I am the Omega. I have no beginning, I have no ending. When you see this, it's called salvation. In my Buddhist tradition, Siddhartha Gautama, you guys know who that is? No. That is the guy you call the Buddha. That was his real name. He said, the light within you continues forever. You enter a place they call nirvana, the endless dimension of pure peace. In the Christian culture, in the Jewish tradition, they call it heaven. So this young kid was trying to point to this enlightenment experience. So they killed him for it, of course, but that was what he was trying to do. And they also poisoned the Buddha. Not many people know that. He was poisoned to death. You didn't know that, right? That's what happened to him. They poisoned him. So if you hear something you don't like, you have to destroy it, right? That's the way it works, it seems. Right? Well, that's what happens. So someone asked this young Jewish kid, you've told us that the kingdom of heaven is where? Within. I say unto thee, my Father's house, the kingdom of heaven, is within you. Meaning, like the Buddha is pointing to, the light within. Your enlightenment in light comes out of you. Yes? Okay. So someone asked him, okay, so you're telling me that the people I love have never left me? Yes. You cannot lose them, you cannot be without them. They will never separate from you. The fact is that you just don't sense it, that's all. You understand this? So someone asked him, how do I get there? How can I enter that space? And his answer was crystal clear. He said, in order to enter my Father's house, you have to return to the innocence of a child. That's the entry. When you return to the innocence of a child, I'm talking newborn, there is no thought. All your clever thinking, all of your cynicisms, all of your confrontational ideas have not existed yet. It's just pure love and pure light. That's where they are. And when I was 46 years old, that opened up inside my head, a form of enlightenment. And they showed it to me and said, go out now and help people who struggle to, quote, believe they are close by. Because everyone says they're out there, they're lost. Right? They're not lost. You cannot lose them. It's not possible to lose them. And what I tried to show you this afternoon in my own little gentle way is to try how do you see this. And to have you see it with a sales pitch or a con job ain't going to cut it. Right? But when you meet a beautiful young lady whose father was a firefighter, right? That kind of a thing, or the woman in the back whose brother was not such a good guy, and so on. Where is all of this coming from? It's coming from those who are here. They don't come to me. They have never left you. Please go home with this peace. Please. right? So people ask me, what do you call this experience? People call it a reading, yes? What am I reading? I'm not reading a damn thing. I'm interpreting stuff, yes. So what is it really? What is this experience really? Does anybody know? No? It's an answer to prayer. You say, I miss you, they come and meet. They're right there. But you don't know it, and what you're willing to do is trade their light because someone told you to look for a quarter outside of 7-Eleven. Well, that's the truth of it. Don't you know what I'm talking about? And you're doing it to them, not to me. You take your mother's soul and limit it to a quarter? Or some bird feather? Because they told you to believe them? You understand? I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to clear the air for you. So that's how I work. I wanted you to experience it. Not to be a know-it-all. I'm just here to help you see the gift given to me and help those who struggle. And I hope I cleared it up a little bit better for you guys. Thank you all so much. God bless you.
You know, sometimes he does when you see him.
I tried to channel it, but
You still have the Zoom thing? Robert?
Wow.
Robert? Do you still have the Zoom thing?
Do I still what?
Have the Zoom thing that you used?
not so good.
What kind of, I feel like he's, there's a place here.
There's a million.
I wanted to ask you, you know, like reincarnation? Like, okay, so you're one soul. Do you have soul separation? Like, because if there's reincarnation, how much soul?
We haven't seen each other in a long time.
My husband Josh. Yeah, you know Josh, that's my son Josh, and my daughter Tracy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. God bless you. Thank you. See you soon. Not too crazy?
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who's meeting them? My mom. That's all. Who had the tumors on the kidneys?
My father.
Make mention to my daughter about my kidneys.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who's meeting them? My mom. That's all. Who had the tumors on the kidneys?
My father.
Make mention to my daughter about my kidneys.
Things that no one would have known at all.
Who's meeting them? My mom. That's all. Who had the tumors on the kidneys?
My father.
Make mention to my daughter about my kidneys.